Good afternoon. Two women are fighting for their lives in hospital following a stabbing at a home in Brampton late last night.
Peel police have arrested a man in connection with the stabbing. CB24's Steve Ryan's been following the investigation and joins us live with more details. Steve.
Yeah, Nathan and Michelle, Peel police tell us that it was just before 11 o'clock last night. They responded to a home in the area of Steeles Avenue and Highway 10 in Brampton. When they arrived on scene, they discovered the two females had been stabbed, both in a life-threatening condition, one in her 50s and the other in her 70s. Both were transported to hospital where they remain. Now, the suspect was not on scene. He had fled in a vehicle, and through some good police work, police were able to identify the vehicle, and the suspect is a short distance away. He was placed under arrest and is now facing 2 counts of attempted murder. Now, we did hear from Peel police just a short time ago here at the scene, and here's some of what they told us. Let's listen.
The suspect that was on scene did flee the area in a vehicle and was caught a short time later by police. That suspect is a 46-year-old man that is now in custody and currently facing charges for 2 counts of attempt murder.
Statistically, if a woman is murdered and or seriously assaulted, statistics tell us that it is most often a past or present intimate partner, and if not a past or present intimate partner, it's often a family member or somebody who the woman at least loved and or trusted. In this case, police tell us that it wasn't an intimate partner situation, but the accused was known to both women. So what the relationship was will be part of the investigation, the motive as well, and there is some suggestion that there might have been some kind of crisis going on with this man when these 2 attempted murders were committed. No threat to public safety. Send it back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Hamilton police are providing an update on the murder of 16-year-old Faison Awan in Stony Creek last year. Let's listen in.
Our investigation has determined that this was a targeted attack involving multiple individuals and multiple firearms. This has been a complex investigation that required the execution of multiple search warrants in both Hamilton and Ottawa. From the start of the investigation, we have spoken to witnesses, collected physical evidence, analyzed video and digital evidence, and diligently followed every lead. This includes the discovery and analysis of new evidence over the last month or so. A culmination of all that has led us to these arrests today. I do want to acknowledge the support of our policing partners who assisted us in this investigation, including the Niagara Regional Police Service, the Peel Regional Police Service, Brockville Police Service, Barrie Police Service, and the Ottawa Police Service. Their assistance was critical in advancing and solving this crime. I also want to be clear, this investigation is not over. We believe there are additional individuals involved, and we are actively working to identify and locate anyone else who played a role in what happened that morning. And to Faison's family, our thoughts are with you. We know that nothing we can do today can undo what has happened, but we are committed to seeking accountability for those who are responsible for this murder. And to the community, if you know something, even if you think it is small or insignificant, we need to hear from you. Information continues to be critical in advancing this investigation. Thank you, and at this point I can take a few questions.
So about a month ago you put out a call looking for more information. You say if you see something, say something.
Absolutely.
How effective was that in coming forward?
All right, Hamilton police giving an update on a murder that happened last year. His name was Faison Awan. You might remember he was driving his car, an Acura, and for several kilometers he was being chased in Stony Creek. Bullets fly, he's killed. He lived in York Region, and they didn't know at the time what he was doing in Stony Creek. But today they say he was targeted. They exercised a search warrant, Hamilton and Ottawa police working together. They got new evidence last month resulting in this announcement of arrests. And they say that it's not over. They believe that there are more people involved. Of course, we're going to keep on following this story, and we'll give you more details as we get them. All right, some other news now. The latest in a series of tow truck fires happened at a car dealership in Mississauga early this morning. It happened shortly before 5 in the morning on Eglinton, just west of Dixie. Firefighters say the truck was engulfed when they arrived. Nobody was hurt, and no other vehicles were damaged. Police can't say for sure whether the fire is suspicious. Well, there's major relief for drivers at the pumps today with double-digit declines for both regular gas and diesel.
However, analysts are warning those drops may just be temporary. CTV's Beth MacDonell has been speaking with drivers and joins us live now with more. Beth.
Michelle, last week at this time in the GTA, gas prices hit nearly $1.85 a liter. Today, that's down to around $1.72 a liter. That's a 13-cent drop. And saving this money on gas prices is important to drivers we spoke with today, but it's not making a big impact on people's pocketbooks just yet. The price is still a lot higher than it was at the end of February before the war with Iran started, and the Strait of Hormuz, that passageway for about 1/5 of the world's oil, became essentially shut. Some experts say this drop may not last because speculators and oil traders are not sure what's going on with the ceasefire.
Well, when I hear what the gas number is going to be, that determines how much I fill.
Before I used to fill up my gas, but now I cannot afford it. I do like a half.
I was used to fill up my tank with the $60. Now it's costing around $80 to $100.
It's good, but still not ideal, but at least it's something.
I just put 50 bucks in. I didn't even get a full tank, and I've only got a little four-cylinder.
The drop you saw this morning is a sort of an early Christmas present. I would sort of grab that and run, because I don't know how long this is going to last.
You can see Michelle, Nathan, over my shoulder. Gas has dropped here at the station I'm at on Shepherd Avenue near McCowan by about 2 cents in just the last few minutes. But again, this may not last. Experts say even if things stabilize, it could take about 2 months for things to start getting back to a more reasonable price that we saw previously. Reporting live, I'm Beth MacDonell. Back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Ontario's Education Minister and Minister of Colleges, Universities, Research Excellence and Security are making an announcement right now as we speak in Oakville. Let's listen in live.
We need a system that removes unnecessary barriers, focuses on real classroom experience, and ensures new teachers feel confident and ready from day one. And that is exactly the kind of work that Minister Quinn and his team have been leading. And we are focused on strengthening learning in every classroom while ensuring consistency, accountability, and confidence in our education system. Hands-on experience supported by strong mentorship is what helps future teachers succeed. New teachers who feel prepared are more likely to stay in the profession and make a lasting impact on students. And that's why I'm pleased to announce more supports for associate teachers, the experienced educators who mentor student teachers in their placements. To be clear, the changes and investments we are announcing are another example of redirecting resources to the classroom and listening to advice coming directly from teachers themselves. Our government is making significant investments to increase the amount of funding that goes towards associate teachers, the mentor teachers. Previously, these mentor teachers would have received a stipend of about $100 to $300 a year. With today's announcement, we are increasing that sixfold to over $635 per mentor placement. Now, I want to just say this. There's not one mentor teacher or associate teacher that I've ever spoken to who says that they are doing this for the money. They're always telling me the same thing. They're doing it to make sure that the next generation of teachers are better prepared to offer our students the best. It will help ensure teacher candidates have access to high-quality placements and that they can learn directly from experienced educators in the classroom. And as I announced last month, we're providing elementary homeroom teachers with a $750 classroom supply card, which is on top of the funding that already goes to schools for supplies in the classroom. But this is all about one thing, is about making sure our education system is focused where it needs to be, on students and on the professionals who support them each and every day. It is about supporting teachers, strengthening classroom learning, and ensuring our investments are delivering results for students. And it is about building a stronger education system that parents can have confidence in. With that, I am pleased to introduce my colleague, Minister Quinn, who will share more about today's announcement. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Minister Calandra, for that introduction, and thank you all for joining us here today. It's a pleasure to be here as we continue strengthening Ontario's world-class education system. As a very proud husband of a teacher and a father of 3 young children, I see firsthand every day the incredible impact Ontario's teachers have on our children. They inspire curiosity and set students on the path to successful, fulfilling careers. Every year, our world-class faculties of education train more than 12,000 future teachers, with nearly 4,800 new teacher candidates graduating every single year. And our government continues to take decisive action to strengthen that pipeline of highly skilled teachers for communities across the whole province. Last summer, we invested nearly $56 million to expand teaching seats at our incredible Bachelor of Education programs, training 2,600 more teachers by 2027. And as part of our historic $6.4 billion investment to the post-secondary sector, we're investing an additional $150 million into teaching education, funding 4,000 more seats and increasing per student funding by 27%. But our work does not stop there. If we want to protect Ontario's families' access to high-quality K-12 education, we can not only train more teachers, we must also ensure the training of our future teachers receive is dynamic and cutting edge so that they graduate ready to thrive in today and tomorrow's classroom. That is why in the coming days, Minister Calandra and I are introducing legislation to modernize teacher education. Should the bill pass, we would shorten teacher education from 2 years and 4 semesters to 1 year delivered in 3 consecutive semesters. This change would get future teachers into the classroom faster, jump-starting fulfilling careers and meeting the needs of communities across Ontario. This change would save students up to $3,000 in tuition fees, breaking down both time and cost barriers to becoming a teacher. Our proposed model would also focus on hands-on learning by establishing a minimum practicum length, so students graduate ready to lead in the classroom. In addition to a shortened program, under this legislation, we would explore new pathways into the teaching profession, because we know there are talented, passionate individuals with relevant experience that would make them a better teacher, and we believe they should be recognized for it. For example, those with early childhood education backgrounds or those with work youth experience. By recognizing prior learning, we're attracting the best and the brightest to join the teaching profession, because Ontario's children deserve the very best start to their education. Coupled with the $16 million investment Minister Calandra just shared to strengthen in-class supports for new teachers, this legislation would create a modern system that puts students, both K-12 and post-secondary, first. As both him and I say often, education is about the students. It's about giving students the support they need to succeed, to become engaged members of our communities and our workforce, and to reach their full potential. And that is exactly what this legislation would do for our teachers and our children. With these changes, we would launch a more nimble and responsive teacher education pipeline that is ready to deliver an exceptional education no matter what our province may face. And when it comes to protecting Ontario, we must always be 3 steps ahead. Today's students are tomorrow's leaders, and our government will do whatever it takes to ensure their future is bright and the future of our province is bright. Thank you all for joining us here today.
I'll take questions from the media. It will be 1 question, 1 follow-up.
All right, you're listening to an announcement from the province introducing legislation to modernize teacher education. I think the big headline here is for those who want to become teachers. Once upon a time, you might remember, it took about a year of teachers college, then they went to 2 years. Well, now they are going back to 1 year program. They estimate this will save students up to $3,000 in tuition, and it's very clear they're trying to beef up the number of teachers in the pipeline. We will continue to follow this developing story, and we'll have more for you tonight at 6. To other news now, the TTC has promised to take action following another major subway disruption this morning. A hydraulic oil spill halted service from Ossington to Woodbine Station until 7:30 a.m. Shuttle buses were brought in and continued to run after service resumed due to delays in getting trains from the yard back onto the line. This is the 2nd hydraulic spill this week, resulting in suspended service. TTC CEO Mandy Blolly has released another statement, which reads in part, for the 2nd time sometime this week. A work car operating during overnight maintenance on Line 2 experienced a hydraulic fluid leak, disrupting the start of subway service. This is unacceptable. I have directed the suspension of the work car fleet, except in exceptional circumstances, pending a full review. Any affected vehicles will remain out of service until we are confident they are safe and reliable to operate. Our focus is clear: prevent a recurrence.
I just feel frustrated when, like, I have to rely on it so much, and it's an integral part of, like, not only my work, but visiting, like, family, and in my case, family that's sick, and I can't either do my job or take care of people who desperately need to take care of as much when things that should work don't.
I think that we need to really put money in towards upgrading our systems and making sure that we're able to move Toronto and the surrounding areas quicker than we do.
Meanwhile, there'll be a service disruption on Line 2 this weekend. There'll be no service between Keele and St. George stations for planned signal work. Shuttle buses will be running instead. Regular service is set to resume on Monday around 6 in the morning. And there'll be no GO train service on the Lakeshore East and Stouffville lines this weekend. Metrolink says the temporary service disruption is for critical track work. During the closure, buses will be running between Durham College in Oshawa and Pickering GO, which will run express to Union Station, as well as Old Elm and Unionville GO. Anyone who uses other stations on the lines is encouraged to use the TTC instead. Regular service is set to resume on Monday. We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city this afternoon. Gray skies. We've got rain coming down in most areas. At least we can say it's not going to be a washout for the weekend, but rain is expected on Sunday. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the situation right now. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. And yeah, in between, we're going to have a really spectacular Saturday. So that's something to look forward to. But yes, it is pretty unsettled right now as we make our way through this Friday. I'll widen out the radar there so you can see there has been snow as expected for communities east of Georgian Bay today. We are getting rain, no lightning associated with this, but the rain could be pretty steady, at least through the early part of this afternoon. Winds today, we're tapping into a bit more of a northerly wind. So that's keeping our temperature a little cool at this hour. It's 4 degrees right now, only 2 in places like Barrie and Parry Sound. Here's today at a glance. Forecast daytime high about +8. That's still shy of seasonal. Periods of rain, light winds expected, but tomorrow the sun will come out. We'll talk about that and the rest of your weekend forecast coming up. For now, though, Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. There are concerns about the fragile ceasefire between the U.S., Israel, and Iran ahead of planned peace talks between American and Iranian officials this weekend.
The talks come as Israel and Hezbollah continue to trade fire in southern Lebanon. Overnight, Hezbollah says it targeted a town in northern Israel in response to what it calls a violation of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement. It comes after Israeli airstrikes on Beirut killed more than 300 people Wednesday, according to Lebanon's health ministry. Both the U.S. and Israel claim Lebanon is not covered under the ceasefire agreement reached with Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed to hold direct negotiations with Lebanon's government, with those talks expected to start next week in Washington. Meanwhile, Iranian and U.S. officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, are set to begin talks in Pakistan tomorrow.
We're looking forward to the negotiation. I think it's going to be positive. We'll, of course, see. As the President of the United States said, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive. So we're going to try to have a positive negotiation. The President has gave us some pretty clear guidelines, and we're going to see.
The Strait of Hormuz remains a key sticking point in negotiations. Iran is continuing to block the key route, citing Israel's continued attacks on Lebanon. U.S. President Donald Trump has criticized that move on social media, calling it dishonorable.
The federal Liberals are taking part in day 2 of their national convention in Montreal. A warm welcome last night for the Liberals' newest member, Sarnia area MP Marilyn Gladu, who crossed the floor to join the party earlier this week. Their convention comes days before 3 by-elections, including 2 in Toronto, where the Liberals could cement a majority government. The convention wraps up tomorrow with Prime Minister Carney to speak to the party faithful in the afternoon. And CTV will have a federal by-election special on Monday, April 13th. It'll begin at 7 p.m. and will be hosted by CTV's chief news anchor and senior editor Omar Sachedina and chief political correspondent Vachi Kapelos. The special will air and live stream on CTV News Channel, ctvnews.ca, Crave, CP24, and B&M Bloomberg.
Statistics Canada says the labor market added 14,000 jobs in March. The job gains, mostly in line with economists' expectations. They represent a modest rebound from sharp losses in January and February. Canada's unemployment rate held steady at 6.7%. Today's data marks the Bank of Canada's last look at the labor market before making its next interest rate decision on April 29th.
Ukrainian officials are urging Russia to extend a ceasefire during Orthodox Easter. The Kremlin announced the ceasefire starting from tomorrow afternoon to midnight Sunday. Ukraine agreed after repeatedly calling for an Easter truce. Today, Kyiv proposed that strikes should not resume after the holiday, drawing a parallel with the ceasefire in the Iran war. But Moscow says the truce with Ukraine is a temporary humanitarian measure, insisting it wants a permanent peace deal. Kyiv describes that as a delay tactic.
The crew of the Artemis II mission are set to splash down in the Pacific Ocean tonight, bringing an end to their historic mission around the moon. Later today, the astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, will reconfigure the cabin for re-entry and conduct a return trajectory correction burn. From that point on, the Orion capsule will be on track for a fiery re-entry before splashing down off the California coast. Now, here's an outline of the timeline for tonight's splashdown. Before entering the Earth's atmosphere, the capsule carrying the Artemis II crew will separate from the service module. That will happen 42 minutes before splashdown. 13 minutes before splashdown, the Orion capsule will enter the Earth's atmosphere at a speed of 40,000 kilometers per hour. Temperatures at the front of the capsule will reach 2,700 degrees Celsius. That's roughly half the temperature of the sun. Several sets of parachutes will deploy about 9 minutes prior to splashdown, which is scheduled to happen at 7 minutes after 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The chutes will then cut and the Orion capsule will right itself as the crew is then recovered.
Well, there is lots to talk about when it comes to your weather forecast this weekend. As mentioned, Saturday is looking pretty good. Might be a little bit of fog in the morning, but otherwise mainly sunny skies and a high of 10. Let's talk about Sunday. We've got some wet weather in store, and this is a look at your runner's forecast. The Around the Bay road race is happening in Hamilton, and yes, it is possible that some showers could begin during the early part of that race, but some improvements come a little later in the day. Stay with us. We are going to take a look at next week's weather forecast. How do several days of 20 degrees sound to you? We'll talk all about that after this.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery early bird prize deadline is midnight tonight. You have until midnight to get your tickets for your chance to win this incredible prize, a lakefront cottage in Haliburton plus $50,000 cash, total value of $2.6 million. Joining me now is Ramona Oss with the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. And I love this prize. Everybody loves a cottage.
That's right. Absolutely stunning. From the minute you walk in, you have wonderful lake views. Lake Haliburton, we're situated right here, lakefront, gorgeous dock. You can imagine yourself swimming in the summer, skating, certainly skating on the lake in the winter. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, great entertaining space right here on the main level. Lower level, incredible rec room. We have a loft. You name it, we've got it right here at this cottage.
You get your tickets before midnight. It's good for your chance to win this prize, but also all the other incredible prizes.
That's right. We have over 11,000 prizes valued at more than $11 million, including our incredible grandest prize of all, valued at $8.5 million, comes with a Thornhill show home, which is absolutely beautiful. You said it's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
And $500,000 cash. cars, vacations, so much more. And best of all, you're supporting life-saving cancer research.
And don't forget to add on that 50-50, which is my favorite prize.
Yes, okay, and here we are. We have some exciting news. The jackpot is now over $5.5 million, and that means the winner takes home almost $2.8 million. Imagine what you could do with that. We are making millionaires all the time.
And this jackpot is growing, and so you've got to add that on to your ticket. It is tax-free if you're the lucky winner. And again, you mentioned that this is all fueling life-saving cancer research.
That's right. Every single ticket supports the incredible work at the Princess Margaret. Sadly, cancer is a leading cause of death in the country, and your support of the lottery really fuels breakthroughs every single day. So remember, we're almost, or actually over 80% sold. You don't want to miss out on this incredible cottage, more than 11,000 prizes, and a chance to do incredible work at the Princess Margaret.
Get your tickets now, princessmargaretlotto.com.
A new exhibition at the Royal Ontario Museum is recognizing Japanese art and culture. The works explore Japan's cultural influence throughout history. CTV's Jessica Smith has been taking in this exhibit and joins us live with more. Jess.
Michelle, it is so cool because not only can you come and look at all this beautiful work, but you can actually get hands-on with some of it. We're here at the Royal Ontario Museum, and I'm joined by Akiko Taksui. So talk to me about putting this together, because I feel like you've taken some of the best pieces you have in the collection at the museum and brought it here for this really unique exhibition.
Yes, so this exhibition is exploring how Japanese art engage with the human sense of touch. So pieces here are all about, sense of touch. And touch is not only about the haptic sensation, but it's a more psychological impression you have in mind. So.
We'll step out of the way so Carol can get a shot of some of just the really amazing artifacts. And I do love the fact that you've brought in things that people can actually touch. Yes. Why did you want to include pieces where you can actually get hands-on and be a part of the exhibition in a way?
Yes, because Japanese art, to fully understand the beauty, you have to feel it rather than just looking. So, like for example, here you can try this furoshiki, the wrapping method of Japanese traditional furoshiki clothes. So you can try it here. And I'm not doing very well, but sorry.
Listen, you did better than I did when we were practicing before we came on camera. Now, it's only been open for a couple of days. So what's the reaction been like so far? And what is it like for you to see all your hard work come together curating this exhibit?
Yes, so the response has been so positive, and then I'm very happy to see and people engage with objects and then look at the beautiful objects. So
I feel like because it's got so many different parts to it that you can touch and see and feel, it makes it really interactive. Was that part of the planning process when it comes to putting this together, that, you have school groups coming through, you've got people of every age and background coming through, that they can actually kind of immerse themselves into the exhibit and touch things?
Yes, exactly. That is the original plan. And the goal of this exhibition is to, rediscover the sense of touch and bring it back to your everyday life, and then try the new way to appreciate art and objects in your life.
And I heard that if you come on Wednesdays and Sundays, you can actually try some kimonos on. How does that all work?
So the volunteer will bring some objects, including kimono, tea-bowl, hand scroll, so you can actually try kimono on. So.
Well, it's very cool. Thank you so much. This all runs here at the ROM until September the 7th. I'm going to send things back inside to the studio.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, it's Friday. Woo! Yay! I know it's rainy, it's wet, but is that dampening our spirits?
No, the fact that it's Friday just makes you feel good automatically, and also knowing that gradually temperatures are going up.
Yeah, I just keep reminding myself, April showers bring May flowers. They're coming, I promise they're coming, and so too is some warmer weather. We've been teasing that for a little while now, but yes, 20-degree temperatures are in the forecast for next week, and it's not just a one-off this time. We're going to be pretty consistently mild, with a couple of days reaching that 20-degree threshold. But yeah, we do have some wet weather to talk about too. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Simply taking another live look outside right now shows, yes, we've got raindrops on that camera lens. It is unsettled right across the GTA. And as you take a look at the satellite and radar, the areas that you see in yellow and orange, that's indicative of some heavier bands of rain. And we're now seeing that starting to inch closer to the downtown core of Toronto, Durham region, York region. You're getting a little bit of a drenching right now too. Similar situation in through Halton and Hamilton. No lightning associated with this, but yes, there has been some wet snow today in parts of Muskoka, now heading toward the Quebec border. However, weather advisories for that have come to an end. We say goodbye to that disturbance. Beautiful sunshine expected for your Saturday, but there's our Sunday weather maker. It's not expected to be a washout that day either, but we'll give you an idea of the timing of it in just a moment. And guess what? More in the way of rain as we make our way into the early part of next week. There's always a trade-off, isn't there, when we get some warmer conditions? This is about 6 p.m. tonight, so depending on where you're joining us from, you might even get some sunshine if that cloud cover can break up. We'll hold on to the chance of showers, but yes, the heavier rain does move out. Here's Saturday, a little bit of fog possible early on and then gorgeous sunshine through the afternoon. Sunday morning and certainly by midday, we're into some rounds of rain once again, or I should say showers, and we're not looking at a big drenching. However, we're going to monitor areas around Georgian Bay for a little more in the way of accumulating rainfall, if we can use that term. Here's a look at what's expected through Sunday. So again, Owen Sound, Barrie, Peterborough even. This is where the more significant rainfall will be. We might pick up about 10 millimeters in and around the GTA. Temperature-wise, it is 4 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. Our expected high today is about 8, so we've got a little ways to go. Hopefully some clearing later this afternoon will help with that. Seasonal norm is now 11 degrees. So when we're talking about highs in the 20s next week, that means above seasonal all of a sudden. +1 is what we're forecasting for a low tonight, although some communities will slip back below freezing. 10 degrees is what we can expect for tomorrow. That is nice. And here is the 7-day forecast. 9 degrees for Sunday, but yes, unsettled. Monday, the first 20-degree day. You still need the umbrella that day. Slightly cooler, but near seasonal on Tuesday, with hopefully a little bit of a break from the shower activity. But we are back into that possibility for Wednesday and Thursday. Both of those days, highs around 20 degrees as well. And it's not just the daytime warmth. Look at these overnight lows. Those lows are what we typically expect for a high at this time of year. So nice little pattern change on the way. That's your look at the weather.
Carry the fire for a world free from the fear of cancer. The Princess Margaret Home Lottery early bird deadline is midnight tonight. Buy early, win more, like the $2.6 million early bird prize package, which includes a stunning Halliburton lakefront cottage plus $50,000 cash. There's over 11,000 prizes to be awarded, valued at over $11 million. Every ticket supports life-saving cancer research. Buy now at princessmargaretlotto.com.
Well, golf season in the city is underway. Toronto's 5 public golf courses opened this morning. Councillor Paula Fletcher was on hand at Dentonia Park to help get things started. The other city courses are Don Valley, Humber Valley, Scarlet Woods, and Tam O'Shanter.
This is a really great place to start. You can rent clubs. It's a short course. It's a par 3, so it's really open for everybody. And they do have clinics. You can say, I'd just like to take one lesson and then go out and see if you like golf, because it is a growing sport and it's a wonderful, easy way to spend an afternoon with a lot of walking. At least 12,000 steps is what on this course.
Tee times can be booked online. Golf season typically lasts until early November.
The Raptors will look to tighten their grip on a playoff spot when they take on the New York Knicks in their second last regular season game tonight.
Depends on the baseline, so you can try to recover back to your own.
B.I. going to throw it down off of Ware, stays with it. Get out of the way, Khalil.
The Raps beat the Heat 128-114 last night, with Brandon Ingram scoring a season-high 38 points. The win pushed the Raptors into 5th place in the NBA's Eastern Conference and a step closer to clinching their first playoff appearance since 2022. Tip-off for tonight's game against the Knicks is set for just after 7:30 in New York.
Single game tickets for the Toronto Tempo went on sale this morning. The team will play its first game, a preseason contest, April 29th. The Tempo has begun to fill out its inaugural roster, having selected 11 players in the WNBA's expansion draft. They will add to that on Monday when they select 4 players in the WNBA draft. Opening night of the league's regular season, mark your calendars, May 8th.
The Blue Jays are down a few players, but can get back on track against the Minnesota Twins tonight.
Runner goes from first. The throw down, and it bounces away. And Schneider is in to score.
The team's coming off a 4-3 win over the LA Dodgers Wednesday afternoon. That win snapped a 6-game losing streak. First pitch for tonight's game against Minnesota is set for just after 7 at the Rogers Center.
Still to come on CTV News at noon, taking a closer look at the Artemis II moon mission, which will come to completion tonight. We'll be bringing in CTV science and tech specialist Dan Riskin to break it all down for us. Stay with us. Well, all eyes will be on the sky tonight as the crew of the Artemis II mission returns back here to Earth.
CTV science and tech specialist Dan Riskin joins us now to talk about the splashdown as well as the crew's historic mission around the moon. It seems like 10 days went by just like that.
Yeah, I wonder if it went by like that for them. I bet it was even faster for them because they're going to be remembering those 10 days and talking about those 10 days for the rest of their lives. And it's exciting for everyone. Yeah, I was listening to Chris Hadfield talk about this, and he said when you're in space, it's happening so fast you don't have time to process it. And it's often weeks and months later that you start to like unpack the emotional weight of what you went through. And so it's magic. 10 days, it is amazing.
Re-entry is dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, the crew has not hidden the fact that there's inherent risk to what they're doing. And they've definitely said that they've been thinking about this moment long before they ever took off. Let's talk about what's at stake here. What are the key factors we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't even have to articulate what the worst case scenario is, but this is dangerous. It all comes down to a heat shield. And so what's going to happen is in space at about 7:33, that Orion capsule is going to separate from the part that has the solar panels. And that is going to drift away and then burn up in the atmosphere. And the part that has the astronauts in it will now have its heat shield exposed. Now, that heat shield is very important. It's been protected against micrometeorites and micrometeoroids. It's been covered the whole time. It's going to finally be exposed to space, and now it's its time to shine. And as the spacecraft comes into the atmosphere, it's going to heat up just like that graphic, and it's going to heat up very hot, more than 2,700 degrees Celsius. And the big issue is that when they tested Artemis I with no one on board, the heat shield did not work the way it was supposed to. It broke off in chunks, and so it got way hotter than it was supposed to, and it was really, really unnerving. And that's the reason that there was a 1-year delay before they did this with people on board. Now, they have not changed the design of the heat shield. There hasn't been time, but they've changed the entry trajectory in a way that they think will put less stress on it and make it less hot. Basically, when it came in the first time for Artemis I, it did what's called a skip re-entry, where it came in hot and then bounced up into space again and then came down a second time. Wow. I know, which Apollo did not do, and they were very happy with this idea because it gives you more accuracy. But what they learned from Artemis I is that it gets air jammed into it when it's doing this, and then when it goes up to space, that air expands in the vacuum of space and breaks chunks off of the heat shield, which they didn't anticipate. They thought the air would all come off the side. So when they went back in for that second burn, there were chunks missing. And so that's why it was so dicey. With this one, they're going to come in, they're going to do something similar, but not a big skip the way they did the first time. So it's going to be a faster re-entry with less of a dramatic rise. This trajectory has not been tested. And so on paper, it looks perfect. The math is all right, or they hope it is. But until somebody's done it, you just don't know. And that's why everybody's kind of going to be holding their breath tonight.
You know, you talk about the danger and also how fast they're going. The speed you can't even fathom.
No, you can't. So it's going to be 13 minutes from when they enter the atmosphere to when they're in the water. And over that period of time, the first 6 minutes of it will have no contact with them at all. Because that plasma's burning up the bottom of the heat shield and tearing pieces of it off. It's meant to do that. There's going to be no way to talk to those astronauts. So for 6 minutes, it'll be that silence that we experienced when they were on the far side of the moon that was unnerving then. This will be much more unnerving. And then once we get past that, it goes to parachutes. They have a first set of chutes and then a second set of chutes. A lot of things have to go in sequence, and they have to happen with exact, precise timing. You've got computers that are changing the angle from moment to moment as it comes in. There's just a lot that has to go right in a short period of time, and so it really comes down to tonight. It's very exciting.
And more records will be broken with speed and such with this re-entry. It makes you wonder what's happening to them. They look like they're inside a tin can, and to be going that fast with that much heat, how do you even survive?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is they'll be experiencing about 3.9 Gs, so they'll weigh about 4 times as much as they're used to. Now, they'll be, lying down in they'll be wearing their suits, they'll be sitting in their chairs, and so they'll be ready for that. And then the other question is when they get out of that spacecraft and they experience just 1 G after experiencing 0 Gs for 10 days, that's not going to feel very good. And so it does always take a while for astronauts to recover from that. And so we'll see how steady they are on their feet as they come out of that spacecraft tonight and step onto what they call the front porch of the spacecraft before being taken away by helicopters.
Incredible. Do they know precisely where they're going to land, or is it just a general idea?
They haven't been very clear about how precise their estimates are, but the way NASA talks about it is there's a boat parked here and it's going to land in front of the boat. So they seem to believe that they've got it right down, but there are some contingencies if things are funny, if there's a drift of wind or whatever, that they've got other boats nearby so they can get them wherever they land.
Yeah, the boats. Yeah, they've been waiting for days. Dan, so great to have you. I'm going to be sad when this is over.
We can keep
been
talking.
Great having you in.
Yes, it has
all along
been fun.
this journey.
I've really enjoyed talking to you about it, and I'm sure we'll have lots more science to talk about because this is the first step of the Artemis mission. So let's keep going.
More to come. Thank you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Dan. And of course, you're watching CTV News at noon. More news after the break. Stay with us.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The Tony Awards have named Pink to host this year's ceremony celebrating the best of Broadway.
Wish me luck.
Good luck. Right here.
The Grammy Award-winning singer appeared in a video sharing the news and poked fun at the fact that she's never actually been on Broadway herself by sticking a toe on stage during a performance of The Great Gatsby. Defenders of Pink connections to the stage say, among other things, she did co-write songs that are performed in 2 current Broadway shows, Anne Juliet and Moulin Rouge. Still, Pink did take note of the possible pushback, writing on social media. When I was asked to host the Tony Awards, my first question was, don't you need to have been on Broadway for this? So I went ahead and fixed that, kind of. And now I'm hosting the Tony Awards. The Broadway community is the hardest working in showbiz. They show up every single night, sometimes twice, and make absolute magic. The Tonys are handed out June 7th.
Coming up on CTV News, the art of the latte. We'll have more on a Markham barista who has been recognized globally for his skills. Stay with us. A barista in Markham has been recognized globally for his latte art.
Now he's preparing to show off his skills at the World Latte Artists Championship next year. CTV's multimedia journalist Corey Baird got a first-hand look at his creations.
For many, it's morning's top priority.
Could I get a medium coffee black, please?
How important is coffee in your daily routine?
Oh, I don't wake up without the coffee. It's mandatory. I need it to survive.
A function for some, art form for others.
Latte art is a way for me to express art in another kind of way.
This is Arthur Chu. He's a latte artist, and we aren't talking the paint-by-numbers variety either. His caffeinated creations have won him 2 Canadian Latte Art Championships. This foamy stag sealed his victory this year.
So this one is the background, which is a tree. And then the antler of the stag, his eye, his ear, his nose, his facial structure, his front legs, his back leg.
He traded in a business degree for the art world, a coffee mug, his chosen canvas.
Distributing the grinds gently.
Arthur's about to take his show on the road. Next stop, the 2027 World Latte Art Championships.
The animal that I'm going to feature on the world stage would be a tiger, a stag, and a timber wolf as well.
His designs are intricate, but he says success isn't complicated. Just outwork your competition.
In my day offs or even after shifts here, is that I practice at least 50 cups per day.
With hands this steady, he's clearly not sampling too many of his creations. 2 national titles makes you a big deal in the coffee community, and here at Markham's Hatch Coffee Roasters, customers frequently seek him out.
I do take requests, but then if you see a line here, I probably don't.
Corey Baird, CTV News, Markham.
Okay, I do love my coffee. That looks pretty good. He's
I want
talented.
one of those. I think, well, whatever.
It's
It's
nice, nice and warm on a day like this too. We need a little caffeine.
I know. Look how gloomy that is.
It's pretty rough. But you know where the weather's a little better today, and this is a good thing, is off the coast of California, because of course that's where the splashdown is going to be happening. Just offshore from San Diego. There's so many factors that come into play here weather-wise, including wave heights, making sure there's no rain, and of course cloud and wind. So right now it looks like a go. 21 degrees in San Diego. Local time when that splashdown is expected to occur. We've got rain here locally. We will be dealing with this for the next hour or so. Tonight, drier, just a chance of a shower. Cloud cover and 7 degrees. Overnight tonight will be at about +1 for a low. There's tomorrow. It's a nice looking day. 10 degrees, mainly sunny skies, sunny, seasonal. And then Sunday, we're back into some wet weather with a similar temperature, but things do start to heat up for next week. Couple of days where we are likely to reach 20 degrees. But yes, you're going to need to keep that umbrella handy right through the middle part of next week. But I think many of us will take that trade-off. Nathan
Not
and
bad.
Michelle.
Thanks, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.